Oh boy. Don't get that crashing sound from the keychain today, so there we are. Alright. I'm recording this on November 1st. I managed to get out to the bar, out to a nightclub for the first time in 6 years last night. Needless to say, I woke up today bright-tailed and bushy-eyed. Anyway. Next on our list of the lost small folk of D&D, and last in the Half Pint Heroes article from Dragon Magazine 262, is the Tasloi. In all honesty, I can see why they dropped this on the side of the road and didn't bring it into the modern era. But right or wrong, we're going to do it anyway. So I'll start with the original article. Ability score adjustments. Tasloi are quick, nimble, and stealthy, gaining a +2 to their dexterity scores. They are also small and somewhat dim-witted, suffering a -1 penalty to strength and intelligence. Now, I'm all for balancing things through positive and negative ability score adjustments, so that's fine. Ability score range. They have minimum and maximum on every stat. Strength can be 3 to 17, dexterity 10 to 19, constitution 3 to 18, intelligence 3 to 17, and wisdom 3 to 18, charisma 3 to 17. This is completely redundant. It has no bearing in 5e or 2024. These kind of restrictions on a PC, it's just overkill. You've already got adjustments, so I have minimums and maximums. Okay. Class restrictions in the original article, which was 2nd edition. Maximum levels and allowed classes. They could only be fighters, well, the 2nd ed equivalent of what would be fighters, clerics, or rogues, which in 2nd ed would be warrior, fighter, priest, shaman, and rogue thief. Maximum level for fighter would be 12, for priest would be 5, and for rogue would be 15. This is also redundant. We're scrapping these right off the bat. There's no viable reason to limit how far a player character can progress in their character class. Hit dice. Player character Tasloi gain hit dice by class. That's perfect. That means we don't have to change it. Alignment. Tasloi tend towards chaotic evil. PC Tasloi can be any non-lawful alignment. Pop culture quiz results are no longer applicable. You can play your character whatever way you want, and you don't even have to put it on your character sheet. Alignment essentially no longer exists since 2014, since 5e. Natural armor class of 6. Now, remember from the last couple of videos how to translate 2nd ed THACO AC into 5e 2024 AC? Now I'll explain it again. THACO is a reverse number AC. So the lower the number you get, the better your armor is. The best you could get was armor class 0. So what we do to translate that is reverse the numbers from 0 to 20 to go from 20 to 0. And 6 is 6 away from 0, so it will be 6 away from 20, which makes it 14. It works. Base movement rate. This would translate to speed in 5e. Base movement rate of 9 and a climbing movement rate of 15. Once again, figuring out the math from 2nd edition to 5th edition is a bitch. So we'll call it the base speed of 20 and a climb speed of 30. For movement, the numbers are roughly doubled, but it's not exact. You can get a close match. There's some weird mathematical tomfuckery in there that nobody likes. So we can call it at 20 and 30. Background. Tasloi are small, jungle-dwelling humanoids that resemble tiny apes. Their foreheads are sharply sloped, and their arms reach to the ground as they walk, though they move more quickly and gracefully by swinging in the branches of trees. They're gibbons. They're bigger than gibbons, but they're basically just described as gibbons. Their skins are gleaming green, with sparse black hair all over their bodies. Their golden eyes resemble a cat's. Their voices are whispery and high-pitched. Tasloi live in large bands, their large numbers making them far more dangerous than they could ever be alone. So they're green-skinned, yellow-eyed, sneaky gibbons. You can see why they dropped this one somewhere between editions of the game, can't you? They are primitive hunters and gatherers, supplementing their existence by raiding other jungle races and the occasional travelers through their domain. Opportunistic scavenger gibbons, okay? They eat just about anything they can find, but they have a marked taste for human and elven flesh. And there we have it. You can't call it cannibalism, with it being a different species and all, but this pretty much blacklists them as a PC race from the start. Languages. Tasloi, the language of monkeys and apes, and Pidgin Common. Okay, so now we've crossed the border and gone straight into the racist area. Pidgin anything. What that describes is basically someone who hasn't yet learned how to speak a language fluently, but is still trying and can at least make themselves understood for the most part. They're doing the best they can. Especially if it's without any formal training in that language, or without anyone to help them learn that language. That's what Pidgin is. And again, you can see why they never brought these guys into 5e. Role-playing suggestions. Tasloi are firm believers in the principle of strength through numbers. As chaotic evil creatures, they do not have a cohesive social order, but they work effectively as a pack, relying on sheer numbers and sneak attacks to bring down victims they might never otherwise defeat. They believe firmly in the right of each individual to do exactly what he wants, but the best way to avoid retribution while doing exactly what you want is to find a group of friends, the larger the better, to do it with you. Let's scroll this up. Even Tasloi, who manage to squelch their evil natures, still feel comfortable, most comfortable, as part of a pack. Adventuring Tasloi think of their companions as protection above all else. Alright, so they're anarcho-communist gibbons as well. Great. Special advantages. Tasloi have sharp claws, allowing them 2 natural attacks in place of weapons. Their claws inflict 1d3 points of damage. I'll up that to 1d4. Make it easier to roll. Tasloi move with great with great stealth through their native jungles. In this environment, if Tasloi are alone or with other quiet creatures, including halflings, elves, gripply, and germlane, they impose a 4 penalty to their opponent's surprise rolls. They can also hide in shadows with a base 75% chance. Tasloi thieves can improve this ability. We can figure that out either through skills or traits. I'll think about it. Tasloi have infravision to a range of 90 feet. Notice, infravision, not dark vision. Big difference. Basically, they see in the infrared spectrum, meaning they can see differences in temperature, like body temperature. Look up infrared videos on YouTube. You'll get the idea really quickly. They can climb through trees and vines much faster than they move on the ground, with a movement rate of 15. Climb speed of 30, we already covered that. Special disadvantages. Tasloi hate bright light and suffer a -1 penalty to their attack rolls in daylight conditions. Fair enough, they're nocturnal. Give them a pair of sunglasses, they'll be fine. They are slow and clumsy on the ground, moving at a rate of 9 and gaining no benefits for stealth. Base speed of 20, refer to my previous statement. Monstrous traits, appearance. Everybody has that one. Humans, elves, and dwarves, or maybe halflings and gnomes, are the only ones that don't have monstrous appearance. Superstition. In an environment filled with dangerous predators, Tasloi survive because of their tribal society and pack tactics. As a result, Tasloi fear being alone and reinforce that fear through superstition. They also hold strong beliefs about certain sites in their jungles, particularly ancient ruins. It's good flavor text. It's fun for roleplay, but it has no mechanical upshot. Weapon proficiencies. Javelin, club, short sword, net, and lasso. We'll call that proficient in simple weapons. Easy. Non-weapon proficiencies. Alertness, animal lore, animal noise, animal training. Spiders and wasps specifically. Blind fighting, danger sense, direction sense, eating, endurance, fire building, fishing, herbalism, hunting, hiding, jumping, local history, looting, natural fighting, observation, religion, airborne riding, giant wasp specifically, rope use, set snares, survival, tightrope walking, tracking, tumbling, ventriloquism, voice mimicry, weather sense, and wild fighting. We'll see what correlates to the skill list in 5e. And allow them to pick 3 to be proficient in. That seems fair. Available kits. Warrior, Tribal Defender, Pit Fighter or Sellsword, Priest, Shaman, Rogue, Scavenger or Shadow. Kits don't exist in 5e, or in 2024 for that matter. The closest thing we have are subclasses, but they're not a very close match for comparison. So we can scrap that list entirely. Average height and weight. Height, 24 plus 1d12 inches. Weight, 30 plus 4d4 pounds. Alright, that makes 2 to 3 feet tall and 30 to 46 pounds. Age, starting age 15 plus 1d4. Maximum age range, 75 plus 2d20. So they can live to 115 years maximum. Average maximum age 95, middle age 37, old age 50, and venerable at 75 years. Thieving skill adjustments. No such thing in 5e, so we don't even need to read it. So, now let's see what our butchery of this ancient artifact has produced. Here's the stat block for 5e. All right. hopefully I've managed to clean these guys up at least a little bit. I dropped the whole thing about eating elves and humans, the alignment and the pidgin languages. I get the feeling they were trying to come up with a jungle goblin with these guys. It's the only reason I can imagine they'd want them to be green. But, well, what do you think? What do you think of these hunched and twisted mockeries of the player character form? Now give me your ideas and opinions. Would you, as a DM, allow a player to bring one of these into your games? As a player, is this something you'd want to try on as a character? They do have some good mechanics to them, depending on the environment. It's just buried under all the baggage of that original description. Anyway, like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see what I can come up with next week, and we'll talk to you next time.